Welcome to claude-code News. Version 2.1.86 is here, and this one is all about reliability, performance, and squashing a long list of bugs that were quietly slowing you down or breaking things in edge cases. Let's get into it. If you're running claude-code behind a proxy, common in enterprise setups, you now get an claude-code session ID header on every API request. This means your proxy or observability layer can group and aggregate all the requests from a single session without having to parse the request body. It's a small addition that makes a big difference for teams doing cost tracking, debugging, or rate limiting at the network layer. Two newer version control systems, Jujutsu and Sapling, are now properly recognized by claude-code. Their metadata directories .jj and .sl are added to the VCS exclusion list. That means grep searches and file autocomplete will no longer descend into those folders and surface irrelevant internal files. If you've been experimenting with either of these modern VCS tools alongside claude-code, this is a welcome cleanup. This release squeezes token usage from several angles at once. The read tool now uses a compact line number format and deduplicates unchanged rereads. So if Claude reads the same file twice without changes in between, it won't waste tokens sending the content again. At mentions with the EA symbol no longer JSON escape raw string content, cutting overhead there too. And skill descriptions in the /skills listing are now capped at 250 characters. Together, these changes meaningfully reduce how many tokens get consumed in a typical session. For developers using claude-code through AWS Bedrock, Google Vertex, or Azure Foundry, prompt caching just got more effective. Dynamic content has been removed from tool descriptions, which were previously busting the cache on every request. This means you'll see higher cache hit rates, which translates directly to lower latency and lower cost on repeated operations. If you're running claude-code at scale through one of these providers, this one's worth paying attention to. This release ships a serious wave of bug fixes. First, the --resum flag was broken for any session created before version 2.1.85, throwing an error about missing tool result blocks. That's now fixed. Writing, editing, or reading files outside the project root, like your global claude.md in the home directory, was also failing when conditional skills were configured. Fixed. On Windows, claude-code was unnecessarily writing to disk on every skill invocation, which could corrupt your config file over time, also fixed. And there was a potential out-of-memory crash when using /feedback on very long sessions with large transcripts. That's been resolved too. Several more fixes are worth calling out. Bear mode, used in CI and scripting, was silently dropping MCP tools in interactive sessions and discarding messages queued mid-turn. That's fixed. The OAuth login flow had two separate bugs. The C shortcut was only copying about 20 characters of the login URL instead of the full thing, and masked input like pasting an OAuth code was leaking the start of the token on narrow terminals. Both are resolved. The official marketplace plugin scripts were also broken with permission-denied errors on Mac and Linux since version 2.1.83. That regression is fixed. And if you run multiple claude-code instances, the status line was showing the wrong model when you switched models in one window. Now each instance tracks its own model correctly. If you have many claude.ai MCP connectors configured, startup was noticeably sluggish on Mac OS because the app was hitting the keychain frequently to resolve credentials. The keychain cache timeout has been extended from 5 seconds to 30 seconds, which dramatically reduces event loop stalls during startup. You should notice a snappier launch experience if you're a heavy MCP user on Mac. Two VSCode specific fixes ship in this release. The extension was incorrectly flagging Claude as not responding during long-running operations, even when it was actively working. That false positive is now gone. And if you're on the max plan, the extension was silently downgrading you to Sonnet after your OAuth token refreshed, which happens automatically about 8 hours after login. That regression is fixed, so your plan settings will now persist correctly across token refreshes. That wraps up version 2.1.86, a release packed with performance wins, token savings, and a long list of fixes that make Claude Code more reliable across the board. If this was useful, hit subscribe to catch every release as it drops. See you next time.